Hello,
Hi.
everybody. We're a couple of minutes late. Good evening to you guys, wherever you are around the world. Good evening, good evening, good evening, everybody. And we have had so many technical issues trying to get on this evening, but we are here. We're here to serve you. And today we're going to be talking about some really fascinating topics. And I have a wonderful shamanic coach on. He's more than shamanic, actually, from Thailand, originally from the States. Jeff Cloud. Hello, Jeff. How are you today? What time is it over there?
It's 2:33. Happy to be here. Happy to be here and share these tools. This is great. So thank you for having me.
Oh, it's great to have you. I'm so excited. 2:30 a.m. in Thailand. That's amazing. So today we are going to talk about such a lot of fascinating stuff. Guys, do you want to just introduce yourself a little bit, Jeff, and tell us a bit about you? What is it like in Thailand? It sounds amazing. So tell us a bit about what you do.
Thailand is incredible. It's one of the most heart-based places I've ever been. How I got here is a completely different story. I'm from San Diego, California. But what I do is, or one of my passions is, sharing truly life-changing tools with people that assists with childhood trauma, childhood conditioning, realizing that our belief system is actually not even ours. This may trigger some people, but our belief system is actually a very tiny prison. And so after studying with my main mentor, Don Miguel Ruiz, for 10 years, and then honing my process down for another 7 years, I had tried everything, all the 3-day seminars in San Diego, Las Vegas, Sedona, and Los Angeles. I'd read all the top spiritual books, and I got some great stuff out of them. But my mind kept reading the books and going, this stuff's really good, really good, really good. But the changes were not happening within me because I was not taught the process that I share with people to go in and identify and undo the limiting programs, the limiting beliefs, the spell words that many of us use that we don't even realize, that tell our subconscious that what we desire is still not here yet, still not here yet. Words like want, hope, try, wish, difficult, they're all giving the subconscious, even though we think that when we tell our story that we're undoing this stuff or attempting to undo it, the subconscious can only take an exact direct order. It's either here or it's not. And so we'll get into that and we'll talk about it because it's really simple, but it takes a commitment to really begin to listen to yourself, your words, and the way that you tell your story. Like I see a lot of people say, you know, this is really hard. This is really difficult. I'm trying. And the subconscious goes, okay, so this is really difficult.
Or I'm
this
struggling.
Is really hard.
I'm struggling.
It's struggling, yeah. Or I'm worrying. And it's tricky. And this is how the 3D matrix is set up to keep people looping in the same thing and to keep people separated and at odds. And I wrote a whole chapter on judgment because I was brought up and taught to be a judgeaholic. I was put into Catholic school in 2nd grade after my dad died when I was 7. And the nuns were angry. And it was a private Catholic school. And it was Judgment Day every single day. And even when I was in 2nd grade, I didn't know the first thing about conscious awareness or spirituality or anything. But my intuition as a little child told me something is very wrong here. Your body knows frequencies. And so this whole book, Waking Up in the Dream, is a very simple, it's not a lengthy book. The whole book, an online course, and I do one-on-one journeying with people, as you know, for 30 days. We go in and we quickly identify the childhood wounds, the traumas, the limiting beliefs, and then we begin to consciously create our reality first thing every morning before we even get out of bed while our head is still on the pillow. Because if we do not, the 50 to 80,000 thoughts, the automatics will just start running again over and over and over. So it's a really, really powerful program. I'm really proud of it. It took me a long time to say that, because if you say that, then you're an egotist, you know? And so we're constantly undoing this stuff and playing with it. So the great news is there is an influx of massive supportive energies coming into the planet. People are waking up every day with the dark doing what they're doing. We're being forced. And
I think they were trying to stop this interview before we started. We had so many issues.
I've never seen that happen or experienced
it
that.
Was so weird, guys. We were trying to get this interview going, and it was like 7:20, 7:25. I was like, damn it, we're going to miss our starting time. And it just wouldn't start. It was like, what the hell's going on? So I said a silent prayer. Jeff did a few bits his side. We did a few bits our side, and it connected. It was like, it's almost like this wasn't meant to air us. Like people are trying to, it just felt interference. It didn't feel quite right. But listen, Jeff, I love what you're talking about. And I know a lot of people are really interested in these themes. And so I've got a whole bunch of questions here. And I would always say to anybody out there who's struggling with stuff, I use that word, who's having a tough time, to actually come on and say, ask a question or leave a comment, guys. So what I'm going to ask you, first of all, what is the Matrix? We've heard that so many times. There's so many different descriptions of it. And for want of us not getting censored on here, what is the Matrix, Jeff? Tell us what it is that we're all caught up in.
From my perspective, everything is energy. Everything is frequency. And we're creating our reality with our thoughts, our words, and then the emotional frequency or vibration that we put behind that. Everybody's probably heard that, you know, from Tesla. The secrets of the universe are frequency and vibration. So when we decided, as part of our soul contract, to come down here at this most exciting time, we had to agree to have everything that we knew as sovereign divine beings wiped. And so when my teacher first told me this in 2001, I was like, there's no way I would have ever chosen to come down here and go through all this pain and suffering and everything else. But as I've come to be more open-minded and do all the studying that I've done over the years, I've realized that this is the case from my perspective and the people that I journey with and my mentors and stuff. So the Matrix, the easiest way to describe it is, it's a system where people have been feeding off of our energy. Our DNA got hijacked. All of the systems currently, the medical system, the system of law, when our parents signed our birth certificate in capital letters, we became, for me in the United States, I became a slave underneath the British royal crown, the King and Queen of England, who have now been removed. But so when you look at the Matrix to kind of see what it is, it's set up to keep people at odds with people. You know, Republican versus Democrat, White Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. Everything is set up to keep people in judgment and reaction. I talk about in my book, the place where you want to be or you intend to be, where you're going to
It's almost like you never get there. That's what it feels like, you know, unless you recognize that. Yeah.
You have to become the conscious observer of your thoughts, your words, and more importantly, your reactions, because they've set this up so that people will be automatic reactors. Everywhere you look in the media, in advertisements, you need to look like this to be perfect, it's all set up to make you feel like you're less than and for you to be at odds with people. And so what happens is, in this journey, the waking up in the dream journey, it's a 3-step simple process of realizing what happened to you when you were a child, what was part of your soul contract, are you still holding on to any wounds? And usually the healing process comes down to one piece. And this piece is actually pretty easy, and this may trigger some people that have been through trauma. And I'll just let you know, I work with people that have been raped, molested, MK ultra'd, people have been murdered in their family, and this requires holding a lot of space. However, if you can be open to the fact that this was part of your soul contract, you may have done this to somebody else in another lifetime, or you came into this life to not only heal this for yourself, but to clear it for the collective of this stuff that's been going on for thousands of years. Forgiveness is the number one thing that will free you and heal you. Whoever did it to you, whatever happened to you, it's important to really know that this was part of your soul contract. If you resist it and resist it and resist it, you're going to keep yourself stuck. And what will happen is you will more than likely keep attracting the same issue that you judge, or the same issue in life and relationships. Like, I have people come to me and they're like, I keep attracting the same wrong person in relationships. And I go, okay, what happened to you during childhood?
But that's what The Secret talks about, doesn't it? Sorry to interrupt you, but like The Secret talks about attracting things, but I feel like there's an element of things missing in The Secret. Maybe you want to tell us that. Maybe you want to tell us why our words are so important. Why should we become aware of every word we say? And isn't that kind of like, to hold ourselves accountable to that level is a pretty high level, right?
It's a pretty high level, but once you start to get playful and you become the conscious observer and you get curious, you can then kind of zoom out with these tools and go, oh, okay, I see how this was set up. That's pretty diabolical. But we can't fight the old. Fighting equals keeping us in low frequency. In order to move out of the 3D matrix, which we're all going to eventually, I believe, nobody will be left behind unless they just choose to exit, because things become so intense. But what happened is, in The Secret, and I know that movie well because I gave away 12 of them for Christmas when the DVD first came out. But what Rhonda Byrne did not tell us is the most important key. And that's that your thoughts and your words and your frequency are creating your reality. So what was the question specifically again?
My question is why are our words so, I know, sorry, it is 2:30 a.m. over there, guys, in Thailand.
So Jeff is 2:44 actually.
2:44 now, sorry.
I love how the numbers line up.
So Jeff has got up specifically to, thank you so much for getting up so early to do that. So why are words so important? Because words leads to thoughts, and thoughts lead to action. It's that sort of knock-on effect. Why are our, what if we're saying to ourselves, I'm happy, but deep down you're feeling shit? How does that work? Well, how can you shift that?
Great question, and I will do my best to answer that for you. So in the United States, it's called spelling. That word spelling is not a mistake. That was purposely created, and words cast spells. So when people tell me, I want, I wish, I hope, it's difficult, I'm trying, again, every single thought and word that you speak and think is directing your subconscious. This is really, really key.
You have to trick the subconscious, don't you, really, I think?
In some cases, and I'll explain how that works. So again, the subconscious is running the show. You can think money comes to me easily and effortlessly. I paid for all these money programs. None of them worked. None. When my dad died, my mom was in total fear about money and everything, probably rightly so. However, she used to just talk about lack. And my uncle did the same thing. He had 8 kids. So I was surrounded in this family environment where lack was constantly impressed into your subconscious. You better eat your last pea on the plate. There's kids starving in India. I mean, they didn't know that they were doing it, but they were programming all of the kids to believe in their subconscious that it's difficult to make money. Life is hard. And this is the way they've set up the whole money system. So here's our way out. We begin to use these tools, and we begin to understand that it's very important to observe the words that we are using. And so all it takes is a little bit of observation, curiosity, and playfulness, because children know this. They know how to tune into frequency. When kids have no limitations. Adults have a lot of limitations. And that's why I say that the belief system is a prison. Because here's what blew my mind in 2001 when I started apprenticing with Don Miguel Ruiz. And if you don't know who Don Miguel Ruiz is, he wrote the 4 Agreements, The Mastery of Love, The Voice of Knowledge, and Beyond Fear. He's been on, he's a famous guy. His books are in 44 languages. I was just lucky to come across him because I lived in San Diego, and so did he. And I eventually became his recording engineer, and we'd travel to the pyramids and all kinds of places. But our subconscious, again, can only take a direct order. So it's very important to realize how we are telling our story. And when I get on calls with people, when they come to do the 30-day journey one-on-one with me, within 5 minutes of them speaking and telling their story, I can tell exactly where the wound is, what happened, and direct them to get out of it. And the process happens very, very quickly. You don't need 3 months, 6 months to even remove 4, 5, 6, 7. I work with people that are at 8 decades young. And notice how I don't use the word OLD. And there's a reason, because our body is filled with trillions of cells. Okay, most people know that. But guess what? Every one of those cells is consciously aware, and it's taking direction and orders because it's part of your subconscious makeup. So when you begin to, read the book or just begin to start to track your thoughts and your words or watch the PowerPoint trainings, you start to see the program. And you can't dismantle a program unless you can see it, because people will defend it. This is the
thing, isn't it? People go to therapy. Sorry to interrupt you, but people go to therapists for like years sometimes, and all they're doing is going round and around, and they're not really sort of cutting through whatever it is they need to cut through. It's like they're perpetually stuck, like a record going around all the whole time.
Exactly. And nothing against the therapists. There's some wonderful, wonderful people.
Yeah, there are, but it's bizarre.
They were trained in the college system like Harvard, and it was all set up not to heal you. And so this will piss you off in the beginning, but being pissed is a very low frequency, which will keep you stuck in the 3D matrix over and over and over. So the key is to begin to operate in your life from only the higher frequencies. And to be able to do that, we must heal anything that we're angry about, upset about, or that we haven't forgiven. But it's easy. I'm not kidding. I did this. I'll give you a little background. After my dad died, I was a great student. I was a soccer star. I was a sports star, swim team, diving team. But then that wound began to really, I didn't know that it was underneath there and it was controlling everything. So I started getting into, when I was a teenager, I started getting into drugs and alcohol like a lot of people. I was really into music. I've been a recording engineer for 30 years for people that know me. But I started to get really sad because I could see the program, and I was repeating my same patterns in life and relationships, and I couldn't figure out why. And 2 or 3 or 4 times I became suicidal. I was like, there has to be more to this dream than pain and suffering. And I didn't know how to clear my pain and my suffering. And so I was suicidal. And a lot of people go through this. I mean, look around at what's going on in the world. It's like crazy, pretty kind of insane right now, where you can't speak the truth. I just woke up at 2 a.m. and I'm restricted for 16 more days in Facebook just because I shared about helping the children, about what masks actually do to children psychologically and physically by breathing in your own carbon dioxide. So you can see that I'm not going to claim we're at war. I'm going to claim we're ascending right now, and it's happening. Because if
we
you're
are
at
ascending,
war,
we're absolutely ascending.
Absolutely. And we came here for this incredible time that hasn't happened in thousands of years. So it's time to get excited, but it's also time to align with people that you know who will uplift and support you. And it's time to begin having conscious conversations where we can support each other, we can heal, and we can begin to really consciously create our reality every day with our thoughts and our words.
Well, thank you. That's beautiful. And I agree with you, because just to let you guys know, everybody watching, I have been doing a bit of training with Jeff, and it is phenomenal, actually. It's really, really good. But, Jeff, can you just explain to everybody, why are words so powerful? How do we create that spell of our life through our words? Like if you're really hating yourself every day when you're looking in the mirror, and you're speaking that language to yourself subconsciously, how is that creating your life going forward and in the present?
Okay, so again, your subconscious is creating your reality. So if you're looking in the mirror or you're holding shame or guilt or anger or feeling less than, that's going to be your reality. Even if you say, my name's Susie Lightworker and I've got all my crystals and all my butterflies, and you cannot bypass the healing process. But here's the good news, and here's what I really want people to understand. For some reason, the inner healing is the last place that people want to go. They deny that they need any healing. They deny that there's any, they don't want to admit, because they don't understand that it's really simple to heal. And if that triggers anybody out there, that's not my intention, but my intention is to get you to go, okay, this is the pattern. We get a wound and then we don't want to admit that we have it, or we don't really even realize or remember what it actually is. I deal with people that have traumas and they're like, can you help me? I don't really know what the problem is. And I'm like, yes, we can still get to it, because the signs will show themselves by what comes up for you, by how you react, how you speak. If you're still judging other people, judgment is the biggest addiction on the planet. And if you're still judging others and you don't see them as your teacher, you're going to stay stuck in the 3D matrix. Here's why. In 5D and beyond, we're talking 3D, 5D, all the Ds are like here.
I think most people understand that here. If you don't understand anything, guys, please leave a comment and I will ask Jeff. If you've got a question for Jeff, please feel free to ask him. It's fascinating stuff. But if you're feeling triggered by this, then either step out and take a deep breath or actually just ask the question. So
I'm really gentle. I mean, I understand these questions. I get them all the time. And, I've got a whole YouTube channel, Portal to Awakening, where you can go watch hundreds of hours of me taking people or explaining this process. So again, what was the specific question? Sorry,
well, there's lots of questions, but I think, because we're living in very challenging and uncertain times, I think it'll be good to sort of explain to people, on a practical level, how can we change our minds and create a better future for ourselves?
Okay.
Because that was one of the things that I know people here are really concerned about. They are concerned about the uncertainty because of what's happened, obviously, the last 2 years. And it's not, for a lot of people, they're in no man's land right now, either financially or spiritually or with depression. These are real issues that are, I don't want to make it sound frivolous to just say change your words and you change your reality. How does that work? How can that be embedded inside them?
Okay. The way that we stay stuck in repeating drama, judgments, lower vibrational patterns is, and thank you for this question, this is a good piece, is we are run by our emotions. Now, an emotional trigger like fear, doubt, anger, reaction, people believe when they react that they're right. They're not right. They're triggered through an emotional reaction, which tricks them into thinking that they're right. The key is to catch every low frequency, even a judgment. I don't like him, he's wrong. What happens is people are reacting to the external hologram out there, and they don't realize that it's reversed. The hologram that we see in the external is actually nothing more than it's put together through all of our collective energies. But what we're responsible for, which will shift us out of that, is being responsible for our own frequency and reactions. So if you notice that you're judging a lot, which it's the biggest addiction on the planet. I wrote a whole chapter on it.
Especially now. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
And so this is how they play it out. They get everybody to be triggered, and everything is fear-based. So what the key is to realize to step back and use your breath. Because if you're in your head, it's going to run based on that emotional trigger and based on the frequency, like how scary or how angry or whatever that story is going to run. They always do this to me. Next thing you know, you're just telling your subconscious, you're just attracting more and more and more of it. So when you have a trigger, the whole waking up in the dream process teaches you to immediately stop and take a breath. I close my eyes and I smile because that relaxes all of those trillions of cells in my body. And I also do self-love every single morning. This is something that very few people, when they first come to see me, do, especially men. A lot of men are taught, don't be a pussy, be a man, be tough, be strong, which is why men have so many more heart attacks than women.
Yeah, it's
This
true.
must be seen and identified. So the key is when we have a judgment, a trigger, a fear, or a doubt, that means that there's an old lower vibrational program running. And again, we cannot dismantle a program unless we can see it, because the ego will justify it and tell you why it's right, but you're not right. You're just reacting to the same old emotional wound or trigger that most people have been programmed to react to over and over and over.
So it's about identifying those triggers, right? Whether it's anger, fear, whatever.
You must catch them instead of justifying them. If you justify them, you're going to relive it over and over and over and over.
It's amazing. There's people who are in their 70s or 80s that are still like that, right? So,
my mom's read my book, and she still thinks I'm crazy. She loves me. We have conversations, but I tried to give her information about the jibby jab, and she didn't want to. She didn't want to take 10 minutes to watch a video that shows what's actually in it. So, I don't want to dive into that because that might trigger some people. But the bottom line is, we must catch our judgments, our triggers, and then ask, what is this trying to teach me about me? The trap is, if you think, my boyfriend always does this, this person always does this, they're your teacher. But if you're blaming it on external sources, you're going to stay stuck. Now, let me clarify with one thing. If somebody is physically abusing you in a relationship, then get out. A lot of times I see women get stuck in abusive relationships because they don't believe that they can find anybody else, because they've got a wound or shame or guilt they're holding on to that tells them that they're not good enough. So they allow the fear to keep them in an abusive relationship, even though they know it's wrong.
But what about someone who might have been abused as a child or has coming from a very poverty-stricken background? And I mean, the first thing is to actually, you've got to kind of be self-aware of the fact that you're feeling these things and you're repeating the same patterns, right? So how do you do that? I mean, with you, I know you have that clicker thing, right, that you use?
I have people who go through the course, learn to track the frequency of all of their thoughts. So when you have a judgment, you can feel that's sticky. That's not love. To move into 5D and beyond, the higher frequencies, and get out of this repeating loop, we must be operating in love, gratitude, compassion, joy, excitement, which is my favorite word because it's one of the highest frequency. So that's how I start out my morning. Every morning, even if I wake up and I've had weird dreams or whatever, I go into my breath and I go, okay, that feels funky. I'm not going to get out of bed and create my day with that feeling. So I use my breath. I love on my body. I drop down into my heart. The key is to drop down into your heart. And the only way that you can do that is to breathe slowly and get in touch with your body. That pulls you out of the head. If the head is running, then you're going to keep running the story over and over and over. So breath is key, but also if you have a wound from childhood, which we all do, we came in and we forgot that we were sovereign divine beings. We all got shocked. We all got wounds. And so, this is the hero's journey, so to speak. I don't necessarily consider myself a hero or anything, but we're all heroes for coming down here at this time, at the greatest time in history, and we're undoing this. So again, if you've got anybody in your life that you have not forgiven, then you are the one that's holding that low vibrational frequency inside yourself or in your solar plexus. You must, I have people journal and go, write down everybody that did anything to you that you think did something to you, and you don't see it as a gift. Like a lot of people had dysfunctional parents, abusive parents, really bad stuff. Now, you may not want to admit this right now, but I want to plant this seed and invite you. You chose your parents, period. You chose your parents. You had a soul contract. You might have been their parents in another lifetime, but you chose your parents. They gave you the gift of life. So no matter what their wounds, they grew up in a totally different time where it was even more challenging than it was for us. Okay. So the key is, if you have any lack of forgiveness or judgments towards other people, you must clear it. You must clear it. And these are the tools to do it in the fastest amount of time of any program or course I've ever found. That might sound egotistical. All I can tell you is you can go to my YouTube channel and watch all my stuff for free. You may not be able to identify your programs on your own because your ego has been taught to justify everything that happened to you. But be gentle with yourself and align with like-minded people. There's lots of groups out there where you can talk and share what's happened to you and receive support, but don't be a victim. If you go in as a victim, like everybody did all this stuff to you, then it's going to be more difficult to come out. The way to do it is to go, okay, this happened. I didn't like it. It sucked. But what is the gift here? If you can entertain those 5 words, what is the gift here? It'll take you out of victim consciousness, and it will raise your level of conscious awareness, because now you're not a victim and you're not an automatic reactor. You're going, okay, even if I don't believe what Jeff's saying, let me give it a try, because nothing else has worked. So the key, I'll finish with this on this question. The healing is about feeling. Okay, so that means you must feel the wound. You must feel the anger. I take people through a process. We get on maybe the first call of week 1 and we have tears. What somebody does when they get on the first call with me, if they go into tears, they immediately go up, they wipe it off. And what do? They apologize like it's shameful. I'm like, no, tears are the most healing, cleansing thing on the planet. The other way to clear energy is to kneel down in front of your bed if you're angry and stack a couple of pillows and use your forearms to pound out that anger so you don't hurt anybody and you don't project that anger on anybody. So the key to healing is feeling it fully so you can release it, and then forgiveness of anyone that was involved.
So if somebody's feeling like, if they've got an automatic program, say people have an automatic program of waking up and feeling just low because maybe they haven't got a good financial situation, or maybe they're just feeling a bit like they hate their job, or there's people at job that are bullies or whatever. How can they start to really change that when they're already feeling that a bit of uncertainty and fear, maybe, or just not looking forward to things, like feeling depressed? How do you start to change that? What was a little step-by-step guide they can do, Okay.
So the first key is understanding that if you're feeling low and you're focused on feeling low, then you're going to keep spiraling in that. You're going to keep attracting that, because here's a real key. It's late it's 3:06 a.m. But okay, so here's a key. Understand this. We are walking, talking, vibrational magnets.
Oh, I love it.
Okay.
I love it. Talk about that.
I'm all about simple. So if you understand that you are a magnet, whether you're aware of it or not, and that your thoughts and your words and your feelings are magnetizing, think of these as timelines.
That's so beautiful. All those stars or whatever they are.
Thank you. This is you, although you're way much brighter than that. But just for the purpose of this discussion, these are all timelines. This is like great relationship, maybe not a good one down here. This is money up here. This is lack down here. We are walking magnets. So if you understand that, this will open up your entire world for you, because you begin, what am I talking about? Am I talking about lack? Money's hard, money's difficult. I don't have money. I need money. I'm trying. That tells your subconscious, you don't have it, you don't have it, you don't have it. So the subconscious, again, can only do one thing. It will deliver exactly what you are speaking and how you are telling your story. So again, when we wake up, if we're feeling bad, we don't like our job, we're struggling for money, notice that. Struggle is low vibration. Not liking your job is low vibration. Okay? Accept the reality where you're at, but you're not stuck there unless you decide you're stuck there and you want to be a victim and keep telling that story.
So this is important. It's not that you're denying where you're at. You're accepting where you're at, right? That's important. Right?
Yeah, we've all been there. I worked so many shitty jobs. I got carpal tunnel. I got shingles on my chest from stress, chasing the dangling carrot. The whole job workforce is set up to pit people against each other. They really did a good job setting it up diabolically. And then they want you to give up the best 65 years of your life so you can become what? It's another spell word. Tired. Means to recycle. You know what tired means. So the key is here, and we're stepping into this. So don't anybody feel frustrated. This stuff that's going on right now can be very intense, no doubt, but it's being cleared. Look around at the world. People are standing up, truckers, everybody. It's happening. It's happening. You're not going to see it on the news until the news is being taken down, but that's going to happen very soon too.
Some of that's already in the news, so that's great.
Some people are really coming forth, and there's some really great people out there. So it's happening. It's happening. But, you got like Facebook. Now they block me because I share a post about children. I mean, it's like they're fighting for they're on their last leg. So the key is to be the conscious observer, to wake up every morning and understand I'm creating my reality with my thoughts and my words and my vibration. So do I want to wake up and just go, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks? No, you wake up and you consciously spend a little bit of time in bed, even if you have to set your alarm 15 minutes or a half hour early, go to bed 15 minutes or a half hour early and go, I'm going to begin to consciously create my reality, even if you don't believe this works yet, because you haven't experienced it. But trust me, because I've been doing this for 21 years and I take people through it every month, and it completely changes the way that they see and create the reality. And we're all moving towards this, but if this resonates with you and you want to do it, the tools are very simple. It just takes a little bit of practice. And earlier, Hannah made a statement like, do you have to trick the subconscious until you get there? And the answer is yes. You must believe it before you see it.
So you kind of fake it till you make it. That's a phrase we have in PR. You fake it till you make it. And unless your story is so shit that it's like you can't make it taste like chocolate. But that's a PR phrase. But in this one, because I tried it the other day, I was a bit down about my contract. I woke up and I was like,
or you did it. You tried it or you did it.
Which one?
Try, never succeed.
That's a word you don't use.
You either do it.
I did it. Sorry, I rephrased that. I did it. So I got up in the morning and I actually was feeling a bit like I don't want to jump on the computer with these people from work. And I just sat there and I just focused and I did that kind of, the smiling thing. At first it was a bit hard, but then I did it and I was really I came out and I was like in a completely different vibration. And I think that's the key. It changes your whole outlook. You
must track your vibration, and you must, when we talk about, see the phrase, well, I'll believe it when I see it. Guess what? You're never going
to see it
because your beliefs are creating your reality. And that's why the belief system is so tiny. When my teacher got me to see in 2001 that none of my beliefs were even mine, he said, I want you guys to journal out all your beliefs and where they came from. And I was like, my head exploded with one of the biggest aha moments I've ever had in my life. I went, none of my beliefs are even mine. None of them. Every single one of them came from my parents, my grandparents, the school system, the media, everything. And I went, oh my God, everybody is just reacting. If anything challenges their belief, they automatically react, they get triggered. and they just keep looping and looping and looping, and they lash out at other people, and it just keeps them stuck and trapped. So this is really, really key. Now, somebody in here asked a question, but I can only see names as Facebook user, but they said, Jeff, can you please repeat?
Oh, that was Dorothy. Phrase? Hi, Dorothy. What was it you wanted Jeff to, what was the phrase? What was the phrase? We've said quite a few phrases.
I know. Give it to me.
Feel it to heal it? I don't know. I don't know which one.
It'll all be on the replay. And it'll
be on the replay, yeah.
I don't know anything more valuable than this because it's simplified. It's simplified. If you do the inner healing, do the forgiveness, and if you need somebody to support you, reach out to one of us, or, be with a friend that'll hold space, that will not judge you, because you came here to do this. If you're listening to this, you're not doomed. You're not screwed. It's just, you haven't been taught these tools yet. And they're simple. It doesn't take years. That's why it's 30 days. Oh, about the magnet. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay. So we are walking, talking, vibrating magnets. That's what we are.
Oh, she said it's about the magnet. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Whether we're aware of it or not. The key is to become aware that I am a walking, talking magnet. So what am I magnetizing? Well, if I'm judging and I'm reacting and I'm worrying, then I'm attracting more timelines that are like that. It's a law. And the beautiful thing about it is, I don't like the word law really, because it's been so inverted and everything.
Crappy word in a way. Yeah, it's a crappy word.
But when you use it in your favor, the external hologram or your reality must adhere to whatever you say. So if you say, money comes to me easily and effortlessly, you must believe that. Because I used to say that all the time and it didn't work. I did EFT tapping. I paid for all this stuff. So what I did to shift my money lack thing, every time, I used to be a bartender, and bartenders and people that serve food make their money on tips, usually in a lot of countries. So when I used to tip people, the mind would go, okay, was the service any good? Was the food? It would start to run this whole program. And I'm like, no, that's lack, because my mind's going, okay, well, how much should I give her? And I only want to give her the right amount. What's the root feeling of that? Lack. So I only want to give enough. So I started, every time when I started to tip people, I started to double it and triple it. Even if it was the worst service on the planet, it didn't matter, because my goal was to let my subconscious know that money is always flowing. But if I hold on to it, it's not going to flow. So here's a really wonderful statement that I shared with Hana the other day. I love this. Anything that you give has already been returned to you. Anything that you give or spend has already been returned to you. This is very, very powerful. It's very true. And if you can embody this and play with it with curiosity and excitement, it'll shift your whole money deal. It will. Because I was hopeless. I was broke up until 4 years ago. And then I went, okay, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I just went, I must shift this. So there must be an underlying belief. No matter how many books I've read about Think and Grow, I read all the top books, and it still didn't work because they didn't teach me how to go in and identify the limiting belief. You can feel the limiting belief.
It's all about going inwards. You can feel it. So the first step is to become self-aware.
Yeah.
Catch the triggers.
Yep.
And change them. Replace them with a high vibe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It sounds almost too simplistic, is it?
And that's kind of the tricky thing for people. They're like, no, it's got to be difficult because I've been struggling.
Because I've had 20 hours of therapy or whatever, right? So, yeah.
I don't say this with an ego. I don't know if it's going to be me or whatever, but this will be taught to children in the first grade. And then they will not need to spend 12 to 16 years going to school to get a degree. The reason why this will be taught to children and why it will be so life-changing is because when you teach a child what an emotional trigger and reaction is, children are smart. They pick things up way quicker than adults because they don't have all the beliefs, years and decades of beliefs and programming. If you teach a child to get curious and playful, and that their thoughts and their words are creating their reality, and you teach them what an emotional trigger and reaction is, they're not going to have to go through 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 decades of healing and trying to undo this stuff. And a lot of the kids that are coming in right now are already switched on with more DNA that's activated. And our DNA is being activated every month with the energies that are coming into the planet. So there's all this great news. And all one has to do is be open to it. Be open, be curious, be playful, and realize when you're judgmental or you're in fear or you're in lack, and use these tools or reach out to somebody. Okay, let me answer this question. Can this magnet
that's Karen. Karen's saying, can this magnet
work with physical pain?
Can this magnet way work with physical pain? I'm not asking to hurt, but I do.
Okay, so when we talk about pain, there can be pain from memory and trauma. And then there can be pain for, like, one of my wild jungle dogs was attacking one of the other dogs the other day, and I punched it because I had to get it off it because it was on its throat, and I injured my finger. So my finger still hurts today, even though it's a week later. So I love on my body. I love on my body. Now, I don't know if your thoughts can heal like a broken vertebrae or whatever. I don't know. But what I do know is I wake up every single morning and I stop those thoughts from running by breathing and smiling. When you smile, it relaxes your whole body. Now that changes your frequency. Then I scan my whole body, my finger, all my other injuries that I've had from accidents. And I just give love to all of them. And my breath is the key, because most people never stop to, well, I don't want to use the word most. A lot of people don't stop to really breathe and tune into their body. They're very shallow breathers. I used to be like that. I could go through the day and then I'd go, wow, I don't even know if I'm breathing, because most people breathe like this. We don't take full, beautiful, deep breaths.
I think a lot of people aren't even aware of their breath, unless they're doing my meditations or their own meditations. Most people are just taking it for granted, really. It's just
I was never taught that. And it wasn't until I started to really go, wow. The key for me was when I woke up every morning and I was invited to do this, that when I took slow, deep breaths and I dropped into my body, that the mind stopped running. Now, this is what some people call 0 point, where you don't have any thoughts going. That's the place you want to create your reality every single morning. And I'll explain how I do it. It's very simple. I tune into my body. I breathe until the mind is quiet. I've been doing this for a while, so I can usually do it in a couple minutes. Sometimes, as I stated earlier, if I had some really weird dreams or whatever and my mind's chattery, it might take me a few more breaths. But I can tell, and I do this enough, and I know it works every time, that I smile, I get in touch with my body, and I breathe. Then I drop into my heart and the mind stops. Then I consciously create my reality. And I do it like this. And again, you must see any intention or desire is already here now, never in the future. Because if you see it in the future, the subconscious will go, okay, it's still in the future. It's still in the future.
You'll never get there. You'll never. Nope. It's like a carrot being dangled in front of you.
This is the trick, and this is how the 3D matrix keeps everybody trapped, by thinking that, oh, I'm going to try, I wish, I hope. Those are all weak spell words, again, that tell the subconscious it's not here yet. It's not here yet. It's not here yet. So when I do my morning routine every single morning, and I never miss it, because there were a few days where I missed it, and then my day was like, it didn't flow. So I wake up, I love on my body, I breathe, I get my mind quiet, and then I go something like this. Okay, I have the most incredible clients from all over the world. They're already here now. I have money that flows into my life all the time, and I can give it away freely. It's already here now. I'm playing concerts all over the world to the largest audiences. It's here now. It's never in the future. If you can get this one little piece and go in and heal and love on yourself, your entire reality will shift like nothing. And yes, it may take a little bit of practice, but I promise you this works, because I've journeyed with thousands of people and there's nobody that it hasn't ever worked for. They've come back to me a couple months later and go, hey, I need your help. And I go, when did you stop using the tools? And they're like, yeah, I kind of got distracted and I didn't start, creating my reality. And I also have people set alarms on their phone when they go through the course so they can come back every hour as many times as possible. You might be working a job or whatever, but you'll still have a message and you can come back during your break and you can do a mini session of what you did in the morning where you check in and you go, okay, where's my frequency right now? Oh, I was angry at my coworker. I was spinning and thinking about all this. No, then you come back and you go, okay, let's reset. So you breathe in, you love on yourself, you smile, which raises your frequency. And then you go, okay, everything's amazing. It may not be amazing in your work environment. So that may be the key to go, hey, maybe you're not doing what you love. And maybe there's something else you're
something will shift doing. Because I remember actually in The Secret that Rhonda Byrne, I think, was it in The Secret where they were talking about the athletes that were visualizing winning the gold? They were visualizing it in their minds before, like running the races and getting the gold, and they actually did. So that was like tricking the subconscious into believing that they've got there. Is there a certain way to do that, or how does that? I mean, because some people just say to me they're not good at visualizing, for example. Okay.
So the most important thing about manifestation is the feeling, because we're a magnet. So how do
magnets work?
How energized can you make your magnet? Well, children do it perfectly. They're excited. I'm going to fly on a rocket ship. I'm going to the moon. I'm hanging out with the fairies in the woods. They don't have any doubt whatsoever until they start to get into school and the teacher tells them to shut up and be quiet and sit still and go stand in the corner. And then in the school system, they teach you what to think. They never teach you how to think. I think that deserves a Tibetan bell. So we must see this program. And so it's all about getting excited. If you can't get excited every morning, and let's face it, there's some people that are going through some difficult stuff.
Yeah, this is it. I don't want to trivialize it, because there are some people I didn't mean that, but there are some people that are going through serious shit. And how do they, I guess for them, it's going to be a step at a time, A
step at a time, and really realize when you're being triggered, you can feel that emotion. It feels sticky. It feels fear-based. It feels low. So you go, okay, I'm feeling that. So what are the tools?
Allow yourself to feel that, basically.
Allow yourself to feel it. Deny it. Yeah. But never project it on other people. Otherwise, it's just going to come back to you.
Yeah.
But go in and go, okay, I'm feeling this. This is real. It's valid. I'm pissed. I'm angry. I feel fear. I feel lack. I can't stand my job. My partner's an asshole, whatever. I keep attracting the wrong men or women in relationships. Okay.
There's a lot of that one. Yeah.
So then stop and go, okay, what is the gift here? I would write that down. I would make it your mantra. I would tattoo it on your forehead so you can see it in reverse in the mirror every day and go, what is the gift here? If you don't find
it, guys, put it on a t-shirt. Yeah.
If you don't find the gift, you're going to keep repeating it over and over and over. And some people might go, well, I'm in an abusive relationship. There's no gift there. Well, it's trying to get your attention to get out. If you can't stand your job, it's trying to get your attention that it's squashing your soul. You're here to do something else. That doesn't maybe mean that you can just leave your job tomorrow because you got 3 kids and a house payment, but it's trying to get your attention. And if you do not listen, it's going to start knocking harder and harder and harder. So you go, okay, I don't like this situation. What can I do? Instead of complaining and bitching and moaning, which is going to keep you so stuck in 3D low vibration, go, okay, this feels uncomfortable, but what is it trying to teach me? Now your mind is open, you're not reactive, and you're seeking a solution.
Yes,
these tools will give you the
most important thing. You're seeking a solution. Yeah.
Do something part-time. Take a course part-time. Study something on the internet. All the information's here now. We're here at the greatest time of information. We're connected with people all over the world. I never would have met Hannah or anybody else on in the world that I'm connected with now if it wasn't for Facebook. Yes, Facebook was set up to be diabolical and track you and everything else, but every darkened version now is imploding. It cannot survive in the light.
I was talking about that the other day. Exactly. It's like the light is going to shine so bright that these things, it's all going to get sucked away. That is what's happening.
It's already here for those that are willing to tune into it. Yes, in the media and stuff, it's still some bad stuff going on. But your invitation, should you choose to accept it, is to become very consciously aware of your thoughts, your words, and the feelings that are magnetizing your different timeline events and reality into your life in every moment, because you're doing it.
So I guess when you do that, you actually step outside of your own way. You step outside of the way. You're open then to receiving and being that magnet that you are, right? Yeah.
And you must be willing to accept 100% responsibility for what's showing up in your life. Even if it's totally shitty, you must go, okay, I must be attracting these wrong people or lack in some way. Don't blame. If you blame it on something out there, you're screwed, because now you're not in your power. You're saying that somebody else has power over you or something else has power over you. Come on, people. Let's do this. We came here to do this. Dive in and go, okay, this sucks, but what am I magnetizing? What am I focusing on? Am I creating my reality every morning? Am I really envisioning that the life I desire is here and that I deserve it? Am I willing to go in and heal and forgive? It's simple. Yeah, it just takes practice, people. And I had to practice too. But this will get you there faster than anything else I've ever found. And that's why I do this. I love it. I absolutely love it. And every time I'm doing one of these shows or I'm doing a live on my YouTube channel, Portal to Awakening, I'm just talking to myself to remind myself over and over and over. These are the tools. Where's my frequency? Am I being loving? Am I in gratitude? Am I being compassionate? Am I being excited? Am I being playful? Am I being non-judgmental? Those are the high frequencies, and those will begin. You'll see. They have to attract like frequency timelines into your reality. Don't believe me, like my teacher Miguel said. Don't believe yourself either. Test it out. Test it out.
Definitely test it out, everybody. I think that's great advice. Thank you for Jeff for that. I've got Sophia. Hi, Soph. There's a lot of people saying thank you very much for reminding me about this, Jeff. Thank you for the magnet energies. The times the feeling really fills me is when I'm visualizing, when I see what I want helps others. I imagine their happiness and it makes me feel even more high and real. Yeah, thanks for that, Sophia. That's really, really, really important.
Yes, that's being in the heart. That's
getting in the heart. But you know, what about when people are just maybe physically they're not feeling very well, if they've got a chronic illness or something like that? How can they still feel good about themselves? Because sometimes illness can really affect us. It can really affect our minds.
It's the number one thing that can drag anybody down. Pain, physical pain is tough. Mental pain is tough too. The only thing I can say is just love on yourself as much as you can. I mean, this is a whole nother topic, but are you putting healthy alkaline water? Like, look at my water. It looks cloudy. That's because there's baking soda and lime in there. I drink it every day to alkaline my body. I didn't used to do this. I used to drink beer every day. I used to do drugs, and I used to eat at fast food restaurants every single day because I lived in my recording studio for 25 years. How I'm still here is a mystery, but I'm still here and I feel freaking great because now I eat vegetarian and I put great things into my body. I'm not saying everybody needs to do that. I'm not judging anybody, but for me, it's the way to go because light, healthy foods. So what are you putting into your body? What are you putting into your mind? You know, most illnesses are blockages of toxicity in the liver, your body, your lymph, all this stuff. It can make arthritis. It can do all this stuff. So I feel for everybody because I have, you know, I got some boo-boos from things I've done, and I just love on them, and I love on them. And when I feel, you know, pain in my knee or whatever, I just give it love and I bless it and I say, thank you, thank you, thank you. Do you realize that every one of these trillions of cells has been unconditionally loving you and serving you in every single moment since you were conceived in the womb?
So this is
never,
crazy.
They've never asked for anything in return. They've just
this is
loved
so
on
deep.
you.
This is so deep and so beautiful. It's like there's a bit in the Bible. I don't know. Someone could, if any one of you guys know what it is, remind me. But it talks about being knitted. God knows you when you were knitted in your mother's womb. I mean, that's deep, right? That is deep. It's like every cell is known.
Ever since we were conceived and we came out of the womb, every one of these cells has been unconditionally, that's a huge word, unconditionally loving on us, purifying our blood, beating our heart, even when we're asleep. There's no way that we could even run the body with our mind. It's doing it through a higher source, a higher power, which is who we are.
Yeah.
And it's really important to realize this, not with an ego, but just with wonder of, wow, this is an incredible dream. How can I tune in and create magnificence for myself and the planet and the animals and everybody, because we're all connected. How do we do that? By being in the higher frequencies of love, gratitude, kindness, compassion, forgiveness, and being excited and playful. A lot of people are not excited and playful right now.
During these times, a lot of people are very unsettled. They are not excited. They are not playful. They are maybe at best, happy watching a comedy or talking to friends, which, all of that's important. So being excited and being playful, those are the challenges for a lot of people.
They can be. The key is to align and hang out with people that are being playful, but they're also being very aware of what they're speaking and how they're setting their magnetic frequency. You can't be sitting back going, yeah, I fucking hate the government. You can go out and take action from a place of love and get in your truck and say, we're standing up. But if you're fighting, that's the old way. This is about holding a higher frequency without having to fight. You can take action through being the observer, and then you don't have to hold that reactive energy. Now you're just here and you're unshakable. You're just like, this is my truth. I'm going to stand up, but I don't need to fight. And this is the new way. This is the new earth. And people are doing it. You're watching beautiful examples all over the world. So yes, I don't know if I answered the question about if you're in physical pain, but basically it's like, loving on yourself, take Epsom salt baths, get your feet on the ground, connect to Mother Earth. And what are you putting into your body? Unfortunately, in the pharmaceutical, which has the word harm right in the middle of it.
Oh, God, yeah.
There is nothing natural that they prescribe to you. Nothing. So even though, I've taken pain pills, I got hooked on Valium when I had anxiety from stress from this job I was working where I got shingles all over my chest. The doctor, I walked in and he goes, oh, you must be stressed out, huh? I didn't know why my skin broke out and it was all pussing. And I was like, I don't know what's going on. So of course, he didn't prescribe me anything natural. He was trained and he gets paid incentives to prescribe the poison. Okay. So if you can find an alternative to any toxic stuff that you're putting in your body, then, it's worth doing, and I know it can be frustrating and I know it can feel difficult, but do what you can, align with people that will support you, and, be aware. Don't be around people bitching and moaning and complaining, and nobody wants to be around that energy. It's toxic.
Well, you'd be amazed. Some people do, but
I know.
I actively avoid those people, but they do. They do.
Like that. They do. So now I have compassion, and if somebody approaches me and they're really hurting, I'll give them the tools. But if they come back to me and they go, no, I'm just, then I'm out. Because here's another one of my favorite mantras. Anything less than love is unacceptable in my life, in my relationships. This is a game changer. I do not tolerate people abusing me or anything. People can say whatever they want to me. I've used these tools enough to where I don't take it personally. I know it's about them. They're unhappy, so they're projecting their stuff. But I'll let them do it one time and then I'll mirror them, which means I'll say, oh, you having a bad day or what's wrong? And if they go, and if they just keep unloading, I'm like, I'm out. You cannot approach me or be around me unless you show up with respect and kindness. And if you want to learn or heal, I'll help you. but do not bring that toxicity anywhere into my field, because anything less than love is unacceptable in my life, in relationships. And when I started to own that, I stopped attracting the lower vibrational people.
Yeah, so everybody can do that.
That's all I can tell you is it works. And, we're sharing a lot here. But
so why don't you let people know? I think my partner's posted your website, which is portaltoawakening.com. Is that the best way for people to contact you?
That's the best way for people to contact me. I'm also on Facebook as facebook.com/Jeff 9 Cloud. Not the number sign, just Jeff 9 Cloud. And then it's easy because my YouTube channel is youtube.com/portal-to-awakening, just the way that my website's spelled up in there. So there's literally hundreds of hours of me explaining these tools over and over and over for free. Again, you may not be able to see the program on your own. You may need some assistance. If you do and it resonates, reach out or go to my website, get the book. You can actually get it right now for half price. You can download it digitally instantly. And then I've got a course, an online course, which you can do at your own time. That's got PowerPoint trainings that will get you to see what the ego does in the program that it runs. And it's like $97. I mean, this stuff it's priceless. And then, a lot of us can be strapped for money, but I'll tell you what, if you use these tools, you will not be in lack again and again and again. It may take you a little bit of practice, but you'll start to see how you can magnetize money into your life. I did it. If I did it, anybody can do it, because I was kind of hopeless. My programming was deep. I'm not saying it was deeper than anybody else's, because it wasn't, but it was my program, and it was part of my soul journey to go in and heal this stuff. So I guess I could share it with other people. That's what we do. We're all mirrors for each other.
Yeah.
And everybody's your teacher, especially the ones that you judge and trigger you. They're your greatest teacher. So don't talk about how you don't like other people. Turn it around and go, what is the gift here? What is this trying to show me or teach me about me? They're just the mirror. And if you don't get the lesson, the mirror is going to keep doing it over and over and over, and it will increase, because there's only one goal on the soul's journey, and that's for us to ascend. And the soul doesn't care if it takes you this lifetime or 1,000 more, because there's no such thing as time beyond 3D. So there's nothing but the soul loving you and loving on you and loving on you. It's just,
that's deep. That is so deep, Jeff.
Do you want to be an observer and grow, or do you want to be a reactor and stay stuck? And that's what this whole course focuses on. It's simple, it's easy, and it'll change your life for anybody that wants to understand that they are creating their reality. You can't blame it on anything outside of you, no matter what.
There is that element of divine timing as well, isn't it? Because we're not saying that tomorrow you're going to be a multimillionaire. What we're saying is that you're going to start to attract money in your life in different ways. Things will change, doors will open, right? But there is such a thing as divine timing, I believe, and things do happen when they're meant to happen as well.
Absolutely. And check this out. If you ask people what they really want in life, most people will tell you the 4 same exact things. Well, I want good health. I want a really nice car. I want my house and property to be paid off. And then what's number 4? I want enough money in the bank to be able to do whatever I want to do.
I want to be financially free.
Okay. All right. So then I ask them the $1 billion question. How much is enough? And I watch their mind go, well, $1 million used to be a lot, but now that won't even buy a house in California. How about 100 million? I don't know. And then the more that you have, the more you have to protect and you worry about. So when you learn these tools, you don't worry about money. You know that it flows. You can give it away. Again, whatever you give has already been returned to you.
I love that. So
this changed my life. That statement and belief changed my life. Having millions of dollars in the bank isn't going to do anything for you. It's a false sense of security. Yes, you can go out and use it and create all these great, things to help the world and, underprivileged children. That's great. But be careful if you think money is going to make you happy and give you some false sense of security, because it's not. That's a lie. There is no security other than just going, I'm floating through this dream and I'm going to keep my frequency high. And I know that all that I need is already here now. Just like when I create my reality, first thing every morning while I'm still in bed, I see it is here now. All I can tell you is it works.
So even if you're like thinking of moving, or you're thinking of a nice, beautiful house that you would like, and you're not quite there yet, you're still in your, little studio, then you can say, my beautiful house is here. You envisage it. You see yourself walking around. You see it. It's really, because there's some people that really write good stuff about this, like Neville Goddard, and there's other writers that are brilliant about this, aren't there? Really. So those are some people that you can look up, guys. Neville Goddard's really good.
We played with this week with Hannah because they're manifesting a new place. Yeah. You see yourself as already in it. Oh my God, I love this beautiful couch. I love my view into the backyard. I can see the birds chirping in the trees. I love my big entertainment center. Whatever you feel, it is here now. If it's still in the future, your subconscious is going to go, okay, it's still in the future. So yes, we must trick the hologram and play with it, because check it out again. Little children don't go, oh, I hope that I'm going to fly on a rocket ship or play with the fairies. No, they're doing it now. It's here now. There is no, there is no difficult. There is no hard. It's a pure, unmessed with imagination that children have. That's why they put them into school immediately and squash that thing so they can get them into the workforce and make little worker bees out of them. Yes, it'll piss you off in the beginning, but now you have an opportunity for you and your children to shift this entire thing, and everything is here to support you.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Jeff. I think we've gone over time. It's like, what time is it over there? It's now 8:45 in the evening here in the UK.
It's 3:44 a.m. What a perfect time.
Well, perfect. You need to go back to bed and have a little snooze.
Yeah. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you.
That it's been valuable.
It's been so wonderful. Jeff is brilliant, guys. Try and get him back on at another time. Might be earlier during the day.
Okay, or we could do some recorded things, and then people can ask their questions. It's really great when people ask questions because, I can talk and share these tools, but I find when I do my lives, it's like people sit back, and then as soon as one person asks a question, then everybody feels relaxed and they all ask questions. And so thank you for the people that did ask questions, because there's a lot of people sitting in the background that this all may be new to them. It may be a little bit overwhelming, and it really helps open things up. So
I think a lot of people on this page kind of get this stuff, and they're already on this journey in some way. They get it, and that's why they're on this page. So thank you to the community for being so amazing and being here, and everybody asking questions and leaving comments. I really appreciate you guys. And thank you to you, Jeff, for being so kind enough to come so early in the morning and talk to us and inspire everybody to believe in things again.
My door's open. If anybody wants to reach out, friend me on Facebook or send me a private message or whatever. And, I'm happy to share,
Yeah, we'll get you back on again.
It's really about getting excited about these tools and going, okay, this stuff sounds like it might be worth checking out. All I can tell you is it works for everybody. Nobody that's ever gone through this process has not had like aha moments.
So here's another thing, guys, just to remind you that Jeff's website is Portal to Awakening, and it's in the comments. You can find it there. And also there is the books by Neville Goddard. Please find Neville Goddard. It's a little bit old fashioned, but he's amazing. And there's some this reminds me of a book I read when I was younger called The Way of the Peaceful Warrior by Dan Millman. I don't know if anybody, that's such a beautiful book. I cried when I read that book. And the guide in there was called Socrates. He was one of my favorite philosophers. So I used that.
Nick Nolte. It was played by Nick Nolte.
I know the movie probably wasn't that great, but anyway, guys, I haven't seen it. But I love you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jeff. And, really beautiful comments. We'll try to get Jeff on again and not try. We will get Jeff on again at another time.
See, and this, I just started sharing the tools with her. And after you are mirrored that don't use the words need, want, try, difficult, you'll start to catch them really quick. You can actually undo 5, 6, 7 decades of stuff really, really quickly with these tools. It's just, we weren't aware of it before. We just thought, well, this is how I feel, so this is how I'm going to talk. But then you're telling your subconscious what you don't want. So it works really fast. So that's why I do it.
It works really fast once you learn to trick your subconscious, and you get the hang of it. You get the hang of it. And also, guys, just another thing, if you do sort of have a bad day, it doesn't matter. Just bring yourself back into alignment. Don't put yourself down for it. Bring yourself back into who you are and start using the tools again.
Let me finish with one thing about that. I'm having a bad day. Nope. Most people don't have a bad day. They had one trigger and they didn't have the awareness to go in and go, what's the gift here? I just got triggered. And so it runs all day and the mind goes, yeah, she always does that. She's been doing that for years. And next thing you know, your whole day has been spinning off that one little trigger that you didn't catch. So don't allow yourself to have a bad day. Catch it and go, oh, okay, there's a trigger. What is this trying to teach me? What is the gift here? If you'll just be open to that, it'll shift decades of automatic reactionary programs that the mind kind of feeds off of, because that's all it knows how to do. So then you train your ego. We actually have everybody name their ego. My ego's name is Larry.
My ego's name is Nina.
So when you name the ego, you can start to see what Larry's doing. Larry was fear-based. He was the judger. He was in lack. He was the reactor. And then you can start to play with it. And then you can get your ego to kind of switch shoulders from being like the judger and the reactor over into being the fun, creative, playful person that little children are. It's a really great tool.
That's a great thing to say.
Thank you again, everybody. Yeah. And I look forward to
Thank you so much, guys. And thank you for all your comments. And we will have Jeff back on at another time. God bless you all. And have a great evening or morning or afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you, guys.
Be well.
Be well.